Welcome to another video. We're going to talk about some new features in the Z1 Designer version 2021.3 that can be used in the 2021.3 version of the Z1 dashboard. So we're going to talk about conditional colors and conditional images. So a conditional color or image is something that can change in your dashboard based on the value of a data channel. So for example, if you have a tire and you want to have an image of that tire which changes based on the temperature of the tire, you would use a conditional image to do that. Or if you have a speedometer and you want to change the color that's used to display the speed, you would use a conditional color to do that and base it off the speed data channel. So we're going to show an example of a dashboard that uses these and how you do it in the Z1 Designer and how you can then implement those in your designs for the Z1 dashboard. So here we are in the Z1 Designer, and we have this GT3 tires dashboard loaded. This dashboard is actually created by one of our users, Ian Paskin, so thanks to him for creating this and for putting it up on the gallery so that you guys can use his amazing dashboards. He has other ones too. This is a great one to show the conditional images in action. And if you actually want to download this for your use, it's on the gallery. Let's go here, view gallery. It's a GT3, so I'm going to choose that. And it's right here, this one here. You just double click. And for me, it's already been downloaded, but for you, it would download and then you could open it. And as well as that one, there's all these other dashboards here that you can use in the Designer and in the Z1 dashboard. So back to this. We want to talk about the conditional images. So if you look at these tire icons here, these are all conditional images. If I click on one, I can see on the right here, we're looking at the object properties of a conditional image. And we have these four different images that are going to be shown. So we have a blue, a yellow, a green, and a red. And as the tire heats up, the image will change based on these values here, the from and the to value. So the important thing when you create your image is you've got to decide, well, what channel is going to affect this particular image. So in this case up here, it's the left front outer tire temp. And that makes sense because this is the left front wheel and it's the outside of it. So that's what we want to affect this particular image. And then the value goes from 0 to just under 55, and then 55 to 70, 70 to 89, and 90 up to 150 to show the images. And these are in Celsius degrees. So, and there are also 4 images. You can have up to 20, but 4 makes sense for this one. And you can decide how the image is aligned within the box. This one is aligned with a horizontal of right and a vertical of at the top. So this shows you what a image looks like once it's being created, but let's talk about if you want to add your own conditional image, how would you go about doing that? So there's a tool over here on the left, this conditional image tool. Basically looks like the basic image tool, except there's 2 of them. So you click on that to select it as you would any other tool, and then you click and drag where you want to put it. Also new as of 2021.3 is this dialog. If you place an object in the incorrect layer, either the foreground or the background, the designer will alert you to say that this is not really where it should be. So are you sure you want to put it there, or do you want to move it to where it should be? In this case, the foreground. So yes, we want to move it to the foreground. Because basically the foreground is for things that are going to change. So if you put a conditional image in the background, it would not change, and it would kind of defeat the purpose of being a conditional image. So now we have our area where we're going to display an image. And right now we haven't selected one, so it just says that there's no preview available. And here on the right, this is where we're going to set it up. and we can call it whatever we want. So you could say this is, conditional image number 23, or you could say it's your, conditional tire, or whatever you want to call it. The next thing here onto the channel, you have to choose which data channel you want to drive the image on this conditional image. And there's a list of every single one that is supported by the Z1 dashboard at this time, and you just choose the one you want. So if we were going to try to recreate that tire, we would choose the left front. So we're going to go find that left front, which is right here, and we want to have the outer tire temperature. So it's this one, left front, outer tire temp. So we would choose that. I know having this image sort of here in the middle of the dashboard makes no sense at all, but it'll give you, we're just trying to show how you put one together. So next is how many images are going to be in your conditional images. You can have between 2 and 20 images. So the example of the tire shows 4, so we'll go with 4. And then you see all 4 are here. And then to choose the image, you just double click, and you can choose the icon that you want. Well, not the icon, sorry, the image you want to put in for this first slot. So we're going to go with this one. And then when you hover over it, you see it says you can click to view or double click to change. We'll go over those in a minute. So now I want to put the, let's go with the yellow next. And then we'll go with green, and then we'll go with red. All right, so here where it says click to view, if I look at my image on the screen here, it's the blue one. If I want to see what the other ones look like, I can just click, and each time I click, now I'm seeing the green one. Click on it here, I see the yellow one. Click here, I see the red one. So this allows you to see in the designer what your images are going to look like as they change. The one that's displayed right now has no effect on what's going to be in the dashboard. That will be based on the values you enter here, or the from value and the to value. So next up, you want to say, well, what are your values? So we're going to go with something similar to what we had in the other tool. I'm sorry, in the other conditional image, where they went from 0 to 55, and then to 70, then to 90, and to 150. So if we do that, we're just going to enter here 55, and then this would be 55 to, I think it was 70, and then we'll go with 70 to 90, and then 90 and up. In this case, I'm just going to say like 500 degrees, or something, 500 degrees, because you don't want this to never not be displayed. So something crazy could happen. You lock your tire up and you spike the temperature for a moment to 300. You don't want the image to disappear. So I'm going to put a very high value on that one. Next, as with any image, you can have an alignment around it. So right now, we are just centering the image within this box we've created. If I want to change that, I can put it on the left side, I can put it on the right side, I can even stretch it across the whole box. Well, that looks kind of funky, so let's go back just to centered. And the same thing here. Top and bottom don't really make too much of a difference on this image because it's so skinny. But if we make the box look like this, then we can see top, center, bottom, and you can also stretch it too. So if you want to do something interesting like that, choose the stretch option. But we're going to go back to center. So that's all there is to it when you're creating a conditional image. You just do what we did here, choose this image tool, and decide how many images you want in it and what is going to be driving it, what channel, and what the values are for those channels. All right, so we talked about conditional images. Now we're going to talk about conditional colors. So starting with a blank dashboard here, and we're just going to create something very simple. Just we're going to put a rectangle, and again it's saying that the rectangle is placed in the foreground, And usually I want to place these in the background, so sure, move it to the background for me. And I will give it a width of, let's say, 3, just so we can see it. And then inside this, I want to put the speed I'm doing. We're going to use the speed as an example of how you can do a conditional color to change the display of your speedometer based on how fast you're going. So I'm going to get the data channel tool, drag it out, and yes, again, now I'm in the background, so I'll put that in the foreground. And I'm going to choose speed as my data channel. Right there. And let's make this bigger so we can see, let's see, 30. That's too big. Okay, like that. And we'll center it. Okay. So let's say this is our dashboard. It's very, very simple. And what we want to have happen is the speed should change. So the faster we go, maybe over 100 kilometers an hour, it goes from green to, say, an orange color. And then from 200 kilometers and over, let's say it goes to a red color. So we can do this in a couple of ways. Here in the object properties is the text color. So if we click on that, we get the color chooser dialog. Now, if you just want a simple color, you can just use this as you would any other color chooser and select the color. But we don't want that. We want a conditional color. So I go down here, and this is my list of various conditional colors that I have. And I'm going to create a new one. So I can go to Add New. And this brings up the conditional color dialog, this dialog. So the first thing I want to do is I need to give it a name. So I'm just going to call this my speed color. And I'm going to base it on the speed data channel. So right here. Now I have 3 values I've decided I want to have. I want to have 0 to 100, 100 to 200, and then over 200. So I want to set this to 3. And just like the conditional images, you can have up to 20 different colors. So we're going to go with 3. So here are my colors. And the first thing I'm going to do is set them. So let's say our first one, let me cancel this for a second. So again, if you change the color, you just click on it and you get a new color chooser. This color chooser is exactly the same as the first, except there's no option for a conditional color. You can't nest a conditional color within another conditional color. So we're going to go with just green. So I'm going to choose a default green right here and say this is my color that I want to have. And now I want a yellow for my second color, so I'll click on that. We'll choose the default yellow. And then I want this to be red, so I'll choose the default red. So now I have my 3 colors, my green, my yellow, and my red. And the next thing to do is set the values. So this starts at 0, and it's going to go up to 100. And then this one is going to go from 100 to 200. And then this one is going to go from 200. And again, I'll set this last value pretty high. I mean, I'm never going to go 400 kilometers an hour, but in case you go 305 or 310, you don't want the color to disappear. So that's why I'm going to set this at 400. So there is one more thing on a conditional color, this box right here, save for future use. So when you're creating a conditional color, that color will be assigned to something in your dashboard and saved with the dashboard. If the color you're creating is something that you are going to use multiple times throughout many dashboards, you can save it within the Z1 Designer itself. So if I click Save for Future Use, this color will be saved in the Designer, and then when I come back to the Designer in the future, it will be available for me to put into a dashboard. So the point of this is so that if I am going to use a color multiple times, it's there. But if I'm only using the color once, it doesn't sort of clutter up my Z1 Designer with a bunch of conditional colors that I'm not necessarily going to use more than once. And this is especially true if you download a dashboard. Because if you download a dashboard that has a conditional color in it, when you open that in the Designer, that conditional color will be added to your list. And if that was set as a permanent color for the Designer, your list would get massive really, really fast. So you don't really want that when you're bringing in colors from other dashboards. So whenever you look at a color, this is a choice. You can save it for future use or say, no, this is a one-time thing and it's specific to this dashboard. So for this case, I'm not going to check it. I'm just saying, no, I just want it for this, and that's fine. I just save it for anything else. So I'm going to create my color. You get the confirmation. Now I'm back into the original color chooser dialog, and the conditional color here is set as the speed color. And then what I see up here is the first color in it, which is green, with the C alerting me that's a conditional color. So I click OK. Now I can see on here the text color is the green, and I have a C in it, meaning this is a conditional color, and there's more than one color that's going to show up. So that's how you can create a conditional color and how you can assign it. And you can assign this to anything. I could have this box be based on a conditional color. I can put it in text or lines or circles or any of the widgets or the units. Anything I want that has a color, that can be a conditional color. And in addition to going through the conditional color by clicking on the actual color swatch here, if I go to the edit option, I can create a new color there, and a new conditional color by clicking on that. And it's the same as I showed before. I'm going to cancel this. Or I can see all my conditional colors. So this is a list of all the conditional colors that are currently in the Z1 Designer. And these would be here if you have loaded a dashboard, and that dashboard is currently open in Designer and it has a conditional color, or if you have chosen to save a previous conditional color that was used in another dashboard. And here's our speed color. And it's not saved for future use. So once I close this dashboard, that speed color will be removed from the list. Of course, if I open this dashboard again in the future, it will be added back to the list, so I can continue to work with the dashboard. So that's conditional images and conditional colors. And as I mentioned before, these are new features in version 2021.3 of the Designer and are usable in version 2021.3 of the dashboard. So hopefully this has been a useful video. Please, any questions or comments, put them below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And if there's any other video topics that you're interested in or want to know about how the Designer works, how you can do something, or about the dashboard, or even the Z1 Analyzer, put those in the comments or send us an email. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next video.